They're not powerful. Maybe you just care too much about being accepted. In reality, the second you stop caring what they think, they start losing control over you. You don't shout. You don't beg. You simply move different. And that's when they start to feel it. The confusion, the tension, the loss of control. Because the person they once could influence, guilt trip, or keep on a leash is no longer emotionally available. And that scares them. That's the part no one teaches you. The less you care, the more power you hold. The less you chase, the more people start to notice your absence. Power isn't always loud. It's not about dominating the room or winning the argument. Real power is quiet. It's calm. And it comes from not needing anything from anyone who once used your care against you. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. Most people lose their influence not because they're not smart or kind, but because they're too attached to being liked. And if that's you, then this video might shift something in you forever. So don't just watch, stay until the end. Because if you do, you'll learn how to stop reacting, start moving with intention, and take back a kind of power no one can steal from you. When you care too much about being liked, about what people think, about how you're seen, you give away power without realizing it. At school, you stress over a group's opinion, so you go along with ideas you don't believe in. At work, you stay silent in meetings to avoid judgment, and someone else takes credit. In dating, you overtext, overthink, over-apologize, just to keep the other person interested. On social media, you delete your post if it doesn't get enough likes. In family dynamics, you keep saying yes to things you hate because you're scared of being the bad one. But here's the truth. The more emotionally invested you are in their validation, the easier it is to control you. Machiavelli wasn't cold. He was clear. He saw that most people are guided by fear of rejection, fear of being misunderstood, fear of losing status. And if you're not aware of that, someone else will use it against you. Here's what no one tells you. Indifference is a power move. When you stop over-explaining, they get confused. When you stop justifying yourself, they start questioning their grip on you. When you stop chasing, they start noticing your silence. And when you finally detach emotionally, they panic. Think of it like this. That friend who always needed you to be available suddenly texts more when you stop replying instantly. That ex who played hot and cold starts watching your stories every day when you stop reacting to theirs. That coworker who used to interrupt you in meetings suddenly asks for your input when you no longer fight to be heard. That family member who guilt-tripped you for years softens when you stop trying to prove you're a good child. You didn't have to beg. You just had to back off. That's not passive aggressiveness. That's reclaiming your space. This isn't just about changing your mindset. That's the start. But it's not enough. If you want real change, you need actions, simple, concrete things you can start doing today to shift the energy around you. These aren't big, dramatic gestures. They're quiet adjustments, but they work. Because true power doesn't shout. It moves smart. 1. Delay your responses. You don't need to reply the second someone texts you. You don't need to say yes right away when someone asks for a favor. Just say, "Let me check, and I'll get back to you." That pause does two things. It puts you in control of your time, and it shows people that your energy isn't always on demand. People respect what's not instantly accessible. When you slow down your replies, you train others to stop rushing your boundaries. 2. Stop explaining your no. Say it with calm, "No thank you," and leave it there. No story, no apology, no long explanation. When you over-explain, you give people room to push, guilt, or argue. But when you keep it short, clear, and neutral, you send the message that your no is not open for debate. Your time and presence are not obligations, they're choices. 3. Keep your emotions off display. Every time you vent online, posting about who hurt you, what made you angry, how you're struggling, you give people a map to your emotional buttons. And some people, even silently, will use that map. Instead, process your emotions in private. Write them down. Talk to someone you trust. But don't give everyone front row seats to your pain. Because the less they know what shakes you, the more powerful you appear. Mystery doesn't mean hiding, it means protecting. 4. Notice who drains you. On purpose. At the end of the day, take 30 seconds and ask yourself, who made me feel heavier today? Not just tired, emotionally smaller, diminished. It might be someone who interrupted you, ignored you, made a backhanded comment, or just took and took without giving. Write their name down. That's someone you need less of. You don't need a dramatic goodbye, just less access, fewer replies, less energy. 5. Use silence as power, not escape. When someone tries to provoke you, makes a sarcastic remark, questions your worth, picks a fight, your first instinct might be to defend or explain. Don't. Instead, pause, hold eye contact, smile slightly, then move on or walk away. That pause, it makes them uncomfortable. That calm, it breaks their rhythm. Because most people expect chaos in return. When they get peace instead, they don't know what to do with it. Reinvest your energy where it matters. If your week is full of people you have to carry, fix, or constantly reassure, you'll never have energy left for your own life. Start tracking this. Ask yourself, what am I building that actually builds me back? Spend time on your goals, your growth, your creative work, your inner peace. Power doesn't always come from saying yes to others. It comes from saying yes to yourself consistently. The truth is, some people only like you when you're small, tired, and distracted. They can't handle your focus, your silence, or your standards. That's not your problem. You don't need to change who you are. You just need to change how you move. Quietly, calmly, clearly. Because the most powerful shift you can make is the one where you stop asking for permission. Machiavelli never told people to be cruel. He told them to stop being naive. He said that those who are too concerned with being loved will always be at the mercy of those who know how to play emotions. In today's world, that shows up everywhere. In politics, where leaders use fear or flattery to win support while silencing truth. In business, where CEOs sell you a vision while maximizing their own image. In dating culture, where playing hard to get is a weapon more than a game. Even in activism or religion, where some people lead more with ego than values, Machiavelli would say, don't hate the world for being strategic. Just stop entering the battlefield without armor. If you're the one who always keeps the peace, who says it's fine when it's not, who carries the weight in your relationships, at work, at home, and still ends up misunderstood, overlooked, or emotionally exhausted, then maybe it's time to stop. Not out of bitterness, not to get revenge, but out of clarity. Because giving too much in the wrong direction doesn't make you strong. It makes you tired. And tired people get used. When you overthink your texts, explain your boundaries like you're on trial, or say yes just to avoid conflict, you're not being kind. You're being controlled by your fear of being judged. People don't always take advantage out of malice. Sometimes you've just taught them that they can. You've confused being needed with being valued. But when you finally stop trying to prove your worth, when you stop chasing validation, stop arguing with people who twist your words, stop making yourself small to keep others comfortable, something shifts. You return to yourself, and that shift is powerful. Suddenly, the ones who relied on your guilt start to panic. The ones who fed off your constant efforts start to chase, and the ones who only loved your light when it served them disappear. Let them. Your job is not to hold everyone together. Your job is to protect your peace, to move with quiet power, and to stand in your clarity even when it makes others uncomfortable. You don't need to manipulate. You just need to stop being manipulated. You don't need to control others. You just need to stop being controlled by your fear of being misunderstood. Because when that fear fades, everything changes. You stop explaining. You start choosing. You stop reacting. You start rising. And people feel it, not because you say it louder, but because you no longer say it at all. If this spoke to you, don't just keep it in your head. Write a comment, even just a few words. It helps you remember, and it might help someone else too. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and share this with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Just trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.